Welcome, everybody. This is Edmund Lee with EscapeArtist, and we're having a casual conversation about Turkey and the event that we have coming up. I'm sitting here with Bambi Weevils over our marketing, and then we're talking to our partner, Sharif, that's out. Well, he's in between Turkey and in the States, but he runs the portal, and its basic purpose is to let everybody know what is it that attracts people to Turkey, what's so great about it, what's so good about living, working, playing, retiring, investing there. And then also he's taking it to the next step where he wants to, where we put together at the conference that's going to show not only those items, but more so we're going to be talking those individuals that want to invest, want to learn about different things about asset protection, et cetera, and even bringing in deals and things to those that are living there in Turkey that are going to get the best pick of the litter, basically, on some of the things we got going on. Great information, great education. So what we decided to do was bring Sharif on and actually just have a conversation, ask him some questions so you can get kind of a behind-the-scenes look and feel on what to expect from this event, but also what to expect in Turkey as well. So I want to thank you for being on, Sharif.
Thank you, Edmund, and thank you, Bambi, for having me part of this call. And I'm looking forward to providing as much information and insight as I possibly can.
So, Sharif, let's get started. Let's go ahead and let's start with this. Why did you decide to host an event in Turkey, and who is this event for? Who's the ideal person to attend this event?
Okay, thanks, Edmund. The reason why I decided to host this event in Turkey is that obviously you've been hearing about Turkey a lot in the news recently as one of the emerging markets, fastest growing economies in the world in emerging markets. It's also a very dynamic country. And it traditionally has been known as a top tourist destination. Actually, it was ranked the sixth most popular destination in the world. And the country itself literally sits in the middle between Europe, the Middle East, and below Russia and on top of Africa. So it's the center point, and it's in such close proximity to so many different countries, and it's a country full of so much history. That it's home to Troy, the Christian church. It has the beautiful coastlines, the culture, the entertainment, and the food is just phenomenal. So there's a lot of different factors as to why I wanted to host this event. And my family is originally from Turkey. I was born and raised in the U.S. So my heart, my heart is always in Turkey, and my mind too, actually, in recent times. And I thought this was a good opportunity and a time because the way the country has evolved in recent years and the different unique opportunities has risen as far as investments are concerned outside of the traditional tourist attractions. Again, it's one of the fastest emerging markets in the world, and there's great opportunities for investment and trade. And I feel now is a real ripe time to introduce people from all over the globe to the market and show them these opportunities. And I feel that, I can give many great reasons as to why, Turkey is a great place to invest, to visit. Obviously, the history, as I mentioned, but the location from Europe, it's only a couple hours away from all the areas that I mentioned. Plus, you can take direct flights from the U.S., from New York, D.C., Chicago, L.A., so accessibility is pretty easy as well in Turkish Airlines. There's the direct flights with them from all over. And you have other options as well. But the economy is thriving. We have a highly skilled workforce, and the population is around 75 million. There's a solid infrastructure. And also Turkey is the energy corridor, the terminal of Europe. And also, another interesting point about Turkey is that it's making a push to be part of the European Union. So in this push, it has to follow certain guidelines and standards. So again, in recent years, Turkey has been risen in standards to meet the European guidelines, such as like Germany, France, and those other countries. So a lot of reforms has happened to conform to the European standards. And obviously the low taxes and incentives make Turkey an attractive place for investment opportunities. The event is for individuals who are looking for alternative types of investments in a growth market. This is an event to expose them something that they're traditionally not used to. It's an event to give them access to individuals and investments to build wealth through alternative vehicles like the super wealthy 1% of the world has access to. It's just a matter of opening up an individual's mind to other opportunities.
Great. I want to thank you for that answer, because you really touched on a lot of points, even more than I was expecting. So that's really good, because I know the people that are listening are definitely getting some value. And I want everyone that's listening, I want you to think about this. If you're wondering a little bit about Sharif, he knows what he's talking about when he's talking about looking for the right markets and the right things in international. He has an actual international business degree as well as the MBA in finance. So it's not just coming from someone that's just talking and just from Turkey and has a love for his country, but he also has done business in Turkey with individuals that want to do business here in the United States, and then he's done business with companies in the United States as a consultant to help them do business in Turkey. So he's been a bridge between not only the personal affiliation with the countries, but also from a business standpoint and a consultant standpoint. So that's really good when you're dissecting, the validity of what he's saying and where it comes from an expert opinion. So what should people attend when they're attending? What should they expect to learn, Sharif, from what type of topics do you feel be covered? Just high level. You don't have to go to each speaker's presentation, but what high level information should they be looking for?
We're fortunate enough to bring in top-notch experts in their chosen field and have access to them in the areas of asset protection, as well as offshore banking, and also the unique different investment opportunities that we're able to present. Again, another great thing is that these speakers are going to be generous with their time and committed to providing the attention that the attendees require. So they're going to be in a position to be one-on-one with these individuals and ask direct questions and try to fulfill their own personal needs. And the presenter, these experts, are going to be able to assist them with their goals and aspirations as far as having access to unique investment opportunities and other investments.
It sounds really informative. I want to take it a different direction. I think this is great, and I want to remind people, if you're interested in learning more about this event, please go to live.escapeartist.com. And if you're ready to pull out your calendars and look at your schedule, join us on March 5th to the 7th. It's going to be a really great time. I know Ed and I are looking forward to being there. But I want to know a little bit more about the culture of Turkey. Why would someone want to come to Turkey? Is it safe to visit? And also, as far as the women out there, what should we know about our visit to Turkey coming in?
Sure. The culture of Turkey, obviously, and the safety issues do come up, but you're not going to be one of the most visited countries in the world or tourist destinations if it wasn't safe. Turkey, the culture is very vibrant. The people are passionate. They're energetic. They're friendly, they're hospitable, they're very helpful, and a lot of people speak English and understand English because they watch all the TV shows, they know all the brands. There's tons of Starbucks. Turkey has the largest Apple store in Europe now, and the women. I think the misconception is that people think it's a Middle Eastern country and the women are all closed and things like that. Yeah, you have the religious type that are closed, but it's a very westernized country. There's a lot of normal Western-looking females there as well. So it's not as Middle Eastern as people assume it to be. I think once people visit, that's one of the, they get surprised, like, oh, wow, we didn't realize how open and westernized of a country it is. The culture, again, it's very safe. All the tourist areas, the prime areas, everything is very safe. There's a lot of expats living there. And the lifestyle is more relaxed. It depends. Istanbul is more heavy-paced. Ankara, the capital, is more like Washington, D.C., where government is, more conservative. But overall, having the warmer climate towards the coastlines makes it a more attractive destination for expats. You have a lot of Europeans who live on the coastlines because it's a more cost-effective lifestyle. Plus, in Europe, they don't get the same weather that they get along the coastline. 70% of the year it's sunny on the Turkish coastline. So the culture is it's exciting, it's interesting. There's a lot of history, a tremendous amount of history and intrigue, I would say.
I'm really personally looking forward to taking the history as well as part of this trip. I was curious in terms of what does it take for a person who is interested in living or working in Turkey?
Sure. If someone is interested in living and working in Turkey, obviously one of the first things that you need to take care of is, initially you need to get your visa. And, I want to make sure that, people who are coming to the conference get their visa beforehand, before they come. So ideally, it's best to visit your nearest Turkish embassy and apply for a visa. You can get a visa at the airport, but after, if you're flying over from the U.S., you don't want to wait in lines. You just want to go have your visa in hand and go and get out of customs as quick as possible. But that option is there. But that option is only there until April 10th of 2014, and you no longer will be able to buy your visa upon arrival in Turkey. You must buy it online in advance. You may be able to buy it online right now, but I'm not too positive. I think this is a new development. So for people who are coming out, I would definitely check with that and contact your local embassy. As far as living and working, you would have to apply for a residence permit. And again, you will have to check with your local embassy and apply for the residence permit. And you receive something called a pink book. And once you have that, you take it to your employer, and you need to submit the documents that are required for that upon 30 days upon your arrival. Again, the best thing to do is to check with your local embassy, Turkish embassy, and get all the details, because there is quite a bit of paperwork and processing time in this process. Your tourist visa is typically good for 90 days. So, you're okay. Once you have your visa in play, you're okay for 90 days. So you'll be fine on that end as well. And for working, actually, there's a lot of, obviously, again, I keep going back to this theme as Turkey being an emerging market, dynamic market. Istanbul is a more commercialized business area, so there's a lot of opportunity for the people who are looking to work for multinational corporations. Those types of opportunities exist there. The capital, Ankara, is more governmental, but you also have the U.S. Embassy, foreign offices are there, and the UN is also based in Izmir. That's the third largest city in Turkey as well. And also a lot of people come there working for, teaching jobs and things like that. My sister, she's in Ankara, the capital. She actually works for the Department of Defense, where there's a lot of U.S. military present. So there's a lot of different opportunities there. And again, because where Turkey's located, a lot of companies are now starting to base out of Turkey because it has access to the Middle East, Europe, North Africa, and the Russian states. Those are a lot of the areas where new growth markets, especially Africa as well.
Now, what I want to just clarify something, just to make sure the listeners understand. Could you go into, specifically for this event, the tourist visa and kind of what it takes to get that, and then also, is there any country outside of Turkey that are exempt from having to have that visa for this event?
As far as I know, for the U.S. visa, it's fairly easy. I believe you have to pay $100 for it, but I haven't heard of any countries being exempt from getting a visa to Turkey. And I don't think it should be too much of a challenge to get it. It's just a fee, and I believe you can get it within a couple of days or even a day. And because of the new developments, recent developments, I even think you can probably get it online as well.
Okay. And so we'll definitely make sure that we have that resource available so people know how to do that. We'll make sure that out in the emails. Now, could you describe a little bit, when we talk about living there, describe the real estate there and what it kind of takes to purchase real estate there. I hear it's pretty lucrative and pretty booming right now.
Right. It is. There's the real estate market has seen tremendous growth. Purchasing Turkey is not like the U.S. It's interesting. People don't have much mortgages. It's just newly becoming popular to get a mortgage. So what happens is people typically buy straight cash. Friends and family pitch in. You'll buy real estate. As far as there's a lot of new developments, a lot of new residential multi-use units coming to market. There's been a tremendous influx of foreign investments in the recent years, which has been propping up the prices. And the real estate prices are very competitive compared to other parts of the world. The country's residential property prices rose 12.5% in the last 12 months, I think up until September of 2013, according to Knight Frank Global House Price Index, which follows the Turkish residential market pretty closely. The best opportunities, though, are located in the coastlines, the beach locations, and that's where a lot of the expats, you have a lot of English, you have a lot of German, a lot of Dutch. They bought a tremendous amount of property on the coastlines, and what they're buying is vacation rentals. And typically, and then during summertime, or 4 to 6 months out of the year, they rent these vacation rentals out, and they provide very good returns. And typically, the investments pay themselves off in 4 to 5 years. Just this past summer, I even rented a villa myself in Bodrum, which is my favorite place in the area I visit every month. I mean, every summer. I wish I was visiting every month. But she was in Australia, so you have she was telling me that how. I asked her if it was a good investment, and she said that it pays itself off in 4 years typically. So I think that's a great opportunity. One can buy an apartment in a Turkish coastal resort towns for as little as $50,000, depending where it is, to villas that are around $300,000. Similar types of investments, like in Spain, will range from $100,000 to $250,000, and the large villa is probably going around $400,000 to $500,000 in Spain. So there's quite a bit of value in Turkey if you look at it that way. And then typically, like a one-bedroom apartment in Turkey will go around $80,000 to $100,000, or $130,000 to $160,000 for a two-bedroom. But if you compare it to Paris, a one-bedroom apartment is going to cost you $300,000. So again, there's a lot of value as far as making real estate investments, and the new developments are just phenomenal and gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. You have them in Istanbul, in all the major cities, Ankara, Izmir, and then also the coastal towns. So there's a lot of opportunities in different areas. And another like my family has traditionally invested in real estate. So what we do is, you make your money here in the U.S. and you buy property, land in Turkey, and it just appreciates on its own over time. If you have land, for instance, my family owned the land for 20, 30 years, and then there's a developer that comes along and says, hey, I want to develop your land. You don't sell it outright to them, but he'll say, I'll build 50 units here, and I'll give you half of them. It's something called a kat karşılık. So it's basically a 50-50 deal. They'll build it. They incur all the expenses of building it, but they'll give you a percentage of the units. And that's a very common thing. So those are some different, real estate type of opportunities as far that exist right now.
Sharif, would you have to be a United States? What if you're a United States citizen? You don't have dual citizenship or anything like that. Could you still take advantage of that, or how does that work?
Yeah, you can. Before you couldn't. So what happened? That's why the real estate prices exploded, is because before you had to be a Turkish citizen to buy property. Now the laws changed, and that's why you had the influx of foreign direct investment buying up all the prime real estate throughout the country. And also, again, another reason why it's a great play is that Turkey's push for the European Union. It's not in the European Union now, but once it gets in, and if it does get in, property prices are going to even rise more substantially. But one thing to keep in mind, though, and I want to point this out because it's very important, is that if you do want to purchase real estate in Turkey, even for someone like me who has family, whose families own real estate, it's important to use local advisors to help you through the process in purchasing your investment and making sure that you get the proper valuation for your investment, because it can get tricky. So you have to find good advisors there in order to do that. And there are very good companies that I personally even work with that provide you through the whole entire process. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the mortgage industry is still new in Turkey, and their mortgages aren't like the ones here where it's, in the U.S., where 30 years. In Turkey, you can get a mortgage for 5 to 10 years, but the interest rates are going to be higher. They'll be like at 10%, 12%. And recently, the Fed Reserve of Turkey increased the interest rates. So one thing that I do sometimes here is I'll pull money from my credit cards or whatever, and you can purchase the real estate there. And, you can get zero interest credit cards and do things like that to purchase real estate. So that, it's about being creative to get your transactions completed. And what's great is last summer I was with my sister, and she sold one of her apartments. And typically in the U.S., transactions take 30 to 60 days to close, sometimes longer. But there, a buyer came along and for day one, and we were done in like 4 days. The transaction was completely done in 4 days. It was so practical and simple, and you didn't have 60 to 100 pages of closing documents. It's a very straight line process. But again, it has to be done with the right advisors and people there holding your hand through the process, especially if you're not familiar with the market.
So you could refer those individuals out, or possibly have those come to the event, so somebody can come there and network and get that type of advisor, correct?
Absolutely. There's a company I work with they are the sole company in Turkey that does valuation. It values property for investors, and they actually work with all the big banks. They do it for the big banks in Turkey, where traditionally they didn't have this. And someone can ask obscure price for a property, but it's true the valuation is something else. So it gives you a peace of mind. Having that service gives you a peace of mind, and this company does an incredible job of hand-holding throughout the whole process. And it's very reasonable priced up as well.
Good. Okay, so that was a wealth of information. I'm glad you shared that because I learned a lot from that. Let's switch gears a little bit. Can you tell me a little bit about any social trends that are going on there? What's the nightlife like? Give me a little bit of the scene, if you will.
My favorite, the nightlife. The nightlife it's incredible. I mean, that's one of the main attractions of Istanbul is the nightlife, and the reason is because it's on the Bosphorus, and being on the Bosphorus, what does that mean? It's where Europe meets Asia. So the European side is more residential. It's more commercial in restaurants, in nightlife, and the Asian side is more residential. Now, the nightlife, there's something for everybody. I'm sure you guys have heard of Cipriani in New York. We have it in Istanbul. We have Sushi Samba. We have all the major Zuma. We have all the main hotspots in Istanbul. But what's cool is a lot of these clubs, restaurants, they're all located on the Bosphorus. So you could be out hanging out with your buddies, and you're watching boats and yachts go by on the European side, and you see the Asian side. You can see the Asian side, and also you can take a boat taxi. So you can go club hopping on a boat taxi, from club to club along the Bosphorus from different clubs, restaurants. There's bars, pubs. It's just a lot of fun. I mean, people are energetic. They like to have fun. People are very social. As I mentioned earlier, there's some of the biggest Starbucks I've ever seen. They're sizes of big restaurants here, and they're always full. So, yeah, the nightlife is, all my friends who have come from the U.S., Europe, they're blown away.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I know I'm really looking forward to it. And if anyone has just joined us, you can check out more on this event at live.escapeartist.com and join us. Don't hesitate. It's March 5th through the 7th. There's limited availability, and I know all of us want to get together and really enjoy what Istanbul is all about. So what are the must-see attractions and events when coming to Turkey? What are some things that we have to see? If you do one thing in Turkey, what is it type thing?
Sure. The must-see attractions, you have to see the Blue Mosque. You got to go to the Grand Bazaar. You got to take your walk on the Bosphorus. You have to go to Taksim Square, and there's a street called İstiklal Caddesi. On that street, I believe there's 1 million people who walk through that street a day. It's unbelievable, the energy, and just it's an unbelievable place. Those are like the prime areas, but especially like where the Blue Mosque and the Grand Bazaar is. And plus, we're going to be doing a tour anyway, so we're going to go where the Blue Mosque and the Grand Bazaar is. That we call that Old Istanbul. That's where more of the historical attractions are. The Topkapı Saray. That area, we'll spend the day in that area, and we'll hit all the important spots there. The Grand Bazaar, it's unbelievable just to go there and see all the different shops and the way they sell. I think they're the best salesmen in the world as far as I've seen. But just remember, if you're going to buy anything in Istanbul, make sure you bargain. That's for sure. But also, coming back to where the hotel is, which is pretty much the city center, and a walk to the Bosphorus, you can take a beautiful walk on the Bosphorus and visit like areas like Bebek. There's nice cafes. It's probably the nicest Starbucks that I've ever seen because you're right on the Bosphorus, and it's the only Starbucks that I've seen that actually delivers coffee to boats or yachts. It's unbelievable. So it's a very cool area. but 3-4 days, you can see, that's not, you can see a lot, but there's so much to see, and that's just in one little part of Istanbul. There's also the Dolmabahce Saray Palace that's on the Bosphorus as well. That's close to the hotel as well, and near Taksim Square as well. So that's an extraordinary palace. It's beautiful. And I would also suggest taking the ferry from the European side to the Asian side, just to get that whole Bosphorus view. And from that boat ride, you can actually see everything. Actually, you'll see the Blue Mosque, you'll see the palace. You'll pretty much see the Galata Tower. So it'll give you a full view of everything. And plus, we're going to be going to restaurant 360. 360 is a 360 degree of the whole entire city. So that's also in that street I mentioned, Istiklal Caddesi, and it's on top of a historical building. And we'll be having dinner there, and that night you'll be able to see the whole entire city, 360 degrees. And another night we're going to go to a place called Suada, which I think is owned by Galatasaray Soccer Club, which is very well known. And that I would say maybe half a mile or a little less off land that will take a boat. And there again, you'll have the whole Bosphorus view of everywhere. You'll be in a little island between the Asian side and the European side.
Sounds great. So in terms of people when they're first traveling to the airport, what advice do you have for people flying in, and what's the transportation like from the airport to the hotel?
Sure. The main advice I would have for travelers coming to Turkey is I would highly advise them to take care of their visas before they come, just to get that out of the way so you don't have to worry about it. Just the typical stuff. Make sure you book your hotels, the transfers, all that stuff before you actually go. Bring comfortable shoes because you're going to walk, and it's a nice walk. As far as transfers, we're going to provide transfers from the airport. There's some other options as well. You can take a taxi, which I think is going to run you about $30 or $40. There's also an airport shuttle that takes you from the airport to the city center, Taksim. I believe that comes out to $6-7, but from there you'll probably have to take a taxi to the hotel, which is fairly close, which is probably going to run you another $6-7. You can take those. I mean, those are your primary modes of transportation. If you venture off on your own and you want to go shopping, go to the shopping centers, and those types of things, the metro system is phenomenal. It stops at all the main shopping centers. And it's fairly close to the hotel too. I think it's walking distance as well.
Oh, I was actually having some difficulties. Now, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, I'll ask the question again, then. Maybe you'll hear it this time. So let's talk a little bit about, let's dive into the event a little bit, in the room and the atmosphere. We have people that are business owners that they're looking to come and they want to share what they have to the marketplace there. Some of your colleagues and then people that you're going to be inviting. So what can a potential sponsor and or speaker expect from the type of audience that will be there? And what are some of the things that they're looking for from the people that will be in Turkey?
Yeah, I think the type of crowd the potential sponsors can expect is that I think we're going to have a nice mixture, actually, and I'm excited about that because we're going to have the investors, the travelers from this part of the world or maybe Europe, and converging on individuals who are also investors, business owners in Turkey, and offering them an extraordinary networking opportunity in bringing like-minded people together. So I think the synergy there would be pretty incredible, and I think you create new opportunities for those individuals being there, because I know that people in Turkey are looking for investing out of the country, protecting their assets, and doing other types of things with their money. At the same time, that's what the individuals coming from this part of the world are looking for, or they're looking for unique opportunities. So it's a great place to, going back to your comments earlier, what I've traditionally done is I've been the bridge between Turkey and the U.S., and essentially that's kind of what we're doing again. We are serving as a bridge between the two parts of the world and connecting them together to even create better opportunities and better investments and accumulate wealth and asset protection for all that's going to be involved.
Well, that sounds good. So what would you say some of the top things that people are actually looking to invest in that are in Turkey that want to? Who would they like to hear from specifically? If you know some ideas, just a couple different topics that they like to hear from or like to attend and network with.
Sure. I think based on my experience and based on my dialogue within my network and business owners in Turkey, a lot of the investors, I should say investors and individuals, what they're looking for is offshore banking, protecting their assets and their wealth. I know a lot of people, we have what is called under-the-pillow wealth in Turkey. It's actually said that with all the under-the-pillow wealth in Turkey can pay off its national debt. So there's a lot of under-the-pillow wealth that people are looking to. They're not earning interest on it. They're not earning anything on it because it's, under the pillow at home, whatever. They would like to put that money somewhere. But that their challenge is finding the trusted and reliable place to put that money and protect their money. So what we're offering is we're bringing those individuals, the offshore bankers, the investment opportunities, and connecting them together to fulfill each other's needs. As far as types of investments are concerned, investment opportunities can include stocks, gold investments. I know a lot of people who invest in silver, gold, especially stocks, forex trading. These types of things in recent years has becoming more and more popular, especially interest arbitrage too. A lot of high net worth individuals they used to do a lot of interest arbitrage, as well as trading government bonds. The investors in Turkey are very savvy, and they like to take risk. So I think it's a great opportunity for a potential sponsor who has something of value that is trustworthy and can share that with the potential investor. I think relationships can develop out of that.
Okay, awesome. I know what a lot of people are wondering. I know a lot of you business owners ears are lighting up, and people that have different services. So what you want to do is you want to go to live.escapeartist.com. You're going to scroll all the way down. If you're interested, you want to learn more about sponsorship and opportunities. I will tell you we've already sold a lot of sponsorship spots already, and I'm not saying that from a fear of loss. It just really is the truth, because people really are they can't wait to get out there and speak to this group. So what you want to do is scroll all the way down to the bottom. It's going to say, please click here, and we will keep you updated about this event. Once you click that, just put in your information. It's going to ask you if you're looking for info on sponsorships. So you're going to click that, send opt-in form, so that you'll be able to get the information that you're looking for. So let me ask you this, from a personal standpoint, since you're that's home and as well as the States, you have both homes. What do you personally look forward to when you go back home to visit?
I get excited about going back home. What I look most forward to is like my friends and family and just the total change of mindset. That's what I look forward to, because I feel like in the U.S. you're just in your own head and you're preoccupied. But when you go there, obviously your friends, family, the relationships, the energy, the socializing, that's what gets me excited. I go to dinner there. I spend 2-3 hours during dinner. Here, it's like I'm on the run to dinner. It's just here I feel you don't have enough time. There, it's like, okay, slow down. And when I'm there too, people are like, I'm always in a rush, and it takes me like a week or two to adjust because everyone's like, calm down, slow down. You're not in America. So, but there's a lot of things that gets me excited because I'm in a very fortunate situation. I'm very lucky because my family is originally from the Black Sea coast, called Rize, from an area called Çamlıhemşin, which is one of the most gorgeous mountains and valleys in Turkey, and it has all shades of green. And it has a reputation of being the most attractive parts of the Black Sea. So, and we have a house there and all that stuff. So I get to go visit that. That's another tourist destination, actually. A lot of tourists come from Europe and whatnot. So I'm fortunate in that aspect, too. And then I also get to visit the coast, the sea, and I also get to see the capital, Ankara. I also go to spend time in Istanbul. So I get to experience, all the great things. And what's nice is that everything is easily accessible. Flying within the country, it's not like I'm flying from D.C. to L.A., 4 or 5 hour trip, where from me, Ankara to Istanbul is a half-hour flight. Everything is close by, within an hour. If you want to take a bus, the buses are like, you have internet, you have leather seats. They're like 5-star buses. They're luxurious. They're not like the buses here. So navigating the country is great. There's always something to do. And plus, because of the history, every time I visit, it's so interesting. Every time I visit, I learn something new about the country. It's just fascinating. And there's places I haven't seen. And, I think that gets me excited. So, I have a lot of reasons to be excited and look forward to going there.
Okay.
That sounds great.
Well,
I'm sorry.
No, Abby, I know. I had this one little part that he made mention of, and I just thought about it, and I just want to get this out. So you said you're from there, and you still haven't been to a lot of places. So with somebody thinking about getting their ticket right now, the event is from the 5th to the 7th. How soon should they come in town, and how long should they stay to really experience it? And even from the jet lag or from getting used to being over there from the States, tell me just a little bit about that. And then Bambi, I want you to go ahead and ask the questions you had. But I just want to know a little bit about the adjustment and how long you think the visit should be to get the most out of it.
I mean, look, to get the most out of the visit, there's so much to see. You're probably not going to get to see because Istanbul is a different animal in itself. You can take a week there and you still won't see everything. But for if you're coming for this event, I think to come for a week, if you can do 10 days, it would be great. A week is ideal. But I think to come for, the day before the conference and then leave the day after the conference, that's doing yourself injustice. But I understand people have obligations and whatnot. It's still better than nothing. But I think if you come a couple days early just to get over the jet lag, and allow yourself to just kind of absorb the whole experience and see everything that you can possibly see, I think a good week is ideal.
Okay.
Well, sounds great.
Get that in.
Well,
so go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead.
No problem. No, I mean, something I wanted to touch on was what you had said about, how the pacing is different than America, and, we're all, here in America, we run a different way. It's always constant on the go, but when we go international, the pacing is just much slower. There's an appreciation for life over there that I'm really looking forward to and embracing with the Turkey culture. But also, I know you had said before in the past that Turkey's been compared to New York. So, and I also like the fact that you had said Turkey's so accessible. So there's a lot of great things that I didn't know about Turkey, but what else is there that would surprise our audience about Turkey?
I think what surprised the audience is that I think a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions, and I'm going to share what a lot of my friends, again, going back to what I said earlier, is that when a lot of my friends from the U.S. and Europe visit, they prejudge. They think, oh, Muslim country, this, that, what's the women like, all that. And then when they come and see, they're like, whoa, it's a total different experience. And they're like, they're blown away by the beauty, the history, the hospitality, and all these things. So I think that's, that's a surprising part. And I think another thing that's surprising is that how vibrant it is and the energy. And I do compare it to New York, because New York is very energetic, and just to be like the views, when you look around, you see, one thing is you don't realize it till you're there. You're like, okay, I'm in Europe right now, and that's Asia over there. I mean, it may not sound interesting right now, but when you're there and you actually see it, you're like, wow, that's pretty cool, So I think those are things that kind of are surprising. And then when people do actually end up visiting and realize how open and westernizing it is, I think that's when the actual shock is, and also how the food is great. The food is phenomenal. That's one of the things I miss the most is the food, and I didn't realize how important it was, because recently I've been traveling to a couple other countries, and food was a big issue for me because I couldn't eat anywhere. I didn't like the food. But when I go back to Turkey, I can't stop eating. It's just like I'm walking the street, I see, the food is seriously delicious.
Tell us about that. I definitely want to hear. And if there's anything, from a diet perspective, does it go a certain way? Is it spicy? Things like that.
Yeah, you have food. You have spicy foods, but you have healthy foods. It's the Mediterranean foods. It's healthy. I watch what I eat in the U.S., but I don't really pay too much attention to when I go there. But yet, I lose weight for some odd reason while I'm there, because the food is more natural. It's more healthy. It's not. You don't eat processed stuff like you eat in the United States. Everything is fresh there. The fruits, they're not. You don't eat fruits with hormones in it. You don't eat meat with hormones in it. And what's cool is if you're a meat eater, there's tons of meat options. If you're vegetarian, you have tons of veggie options. So, and the fish, the seafood is great. The way foods are prepared is great. The wine is phenomenal. We have great Turkish wines. So yeah, it's quite an experience. Yeah, eating is I like, because like I said earlier, you sit. When you eat, you don't sit and eat for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. You sit, those social gathering, you sit for a while, and you'll eat all kinds of different dishes and things like that.
Is there a certain dish that you miss that you really look forward to when you go back?
Where should I begin? Actually, what I miss the most is what we call meze. They're small little dishes. So I miss those dishes. And when you eat all those dishes, you don't end up eating like a big, you get the best of all these little different appetizer dishes. So that's what I miss the most. And it's really hard to find here. So that's why I miss the food a lot.
Sounds really good. In terms of the hotel, I know we're staying at the Hilton. What do you know about the hotel?
The hotel is actually in a very prime location. You have a breathtaking view of the Bosphorus. It's on the European side. It's close to the city center. We're fortunate that you can walk down to the Bosphorus. Actually, you can walk down to the Bosphorus and you can take the ferry. That's where the ferry is to take you across to the Asian side. So, if people want to do that, there's that option. It's very close walking distance to an area called Nişantaşı, and that's an area similar to Soho, New York. You have a lot of trendy stores, cafes. It's about 45 minutes from the airport. There's a rooftop, I think it's called Cloud 7 is the name of a restaurant at the hotel. But it has a rooftop, so it's a rooftop terrace where it's a great place to go have a drink and have the view of the whole Bosphorus. As I mentioned, you can walk to Beşiktaş. That's where the ferry is. It's a short taxi ride to Taksim Square. That's pretty much where they call the city center. And also, the restaurant at the hotel also has the classic Turkish dishes. That people, if they want to try, and I think there's a Starbucks walking distance. There's little cafes and things like that close to the hotel walking distance. I mean, the location is very prime, so you can, there's a lot of options as far as if people want to walk, take a walk, and do those types of things. Grab a cup of coffee or try. There's something called Turkish simit. It's similar to the bagels, but they're a little bit bigger and they're delicious actually. And you can get those. There's simit shops close by the hotel as well. I suggest going to a place called Simit Saray. I think it's like 2 lira for one. That's like almost 80-90 cents. But they put feta cheese in them, tomatoes. It's absolutely delicious.
I know. I'll definitely try that. I want to remind everybody in our audience who's listening, if you haven't already, visit us at live.escapeartist.com. If you're interested in booking a hotel at the Hilton, we have information on our website. We have a special rate that will last until February 11th. Otherwise, there's an additional $50 processing fee after that date through PayPal. But all that information is at live.escapeartist.com. And I want to remind everybody it's March 5th through the 7th. So, again, if you're trying to make plans, this is a good time to start looking to book your flights. You can contact us at conference@escapeartist.com for more information on some special rates. And this is my final question. I really enjoyed this. This has been a lot of fun. I know I'm looking forward to Turkey more than ever after hearing everything you said today. What do you feel, what is an escape artist to you? Because here at Escape Artist, this is what we're all about. So I'm curious what your take is on that.
I like that question a lot, actually. It gets me excited. I don't know why. What is an escape artist? I think there's several parts to being an escape artist. Ultimately, I feel it's a mindset. It's a mindset where someone has the audacity and the courage to live life on their own terms. And also, I think, as I said, it's the mindset in someone who has the understanding, the beliefs, and awareness of the possibilities that life has to offer. And I think these are important aspects because it's all about your mental choices, and either you can make life challenging or you can make it easy. And what we're doing here is what the Escape Artist platform is offering is strategies and systems in place to finance their lifestyle. And I think that's important because, alluding to what I said earlier, being in America, you get stuck in your head. You find yourself talking to yourself all the time. You're like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and this, it's like, okay, I want to go live in Turkey. I want to live a different lifestyle or wherever it is. But I think the number one question everybody has is, okay, I want to go to Turkey. I want to go to Belize, wherever. How am I going to finance this life? How am I going to do it? And I think what's great is that that's what we're here to do, is offer people an opportunity to finance the life of their dreams and become the escape artist and not stuck in their head in wherever they are. And I believe this is a great opportunity to achieve that.
I definitely agree with what you said, and I agree with Bambi. I mean, I'm super excited about the event, even though I was already excited. And I think people are wondering right now, it may be on the fence. A lot of people probably already went, and I'm seeing new hits on our site already. So I'm wondering, for those people that are kind of on the fence and they want to say, well, why should I really go to this? Why is this a can't-miss event? Just lay it out as personal as you can be of why this is an event you just don't want to miss.
Because if someone wants to make a change, like a serious change, and they're committed to making a change, then you need to be there. This is going to be your opportunity to meet the people, get the support, get the strategies and systems to make that shift once and for all.
Awesome. Great. And everybody, I want you to take heed to what he said. He said a change. He didn't say that you were at one income level and you want to be at the next. You could be at a high income level and you just want to protect it and you just want to change. So I don't want people to think that you have to be a certain bracket, because there are going to be some players there. There's going to be some people that are just learning, some people that are just traveling. You're going to have a mix of it all, but we want to make sure we deliver from our sponsors. We have some great sponsors and speakers lined up. So you definitely, still early in the year, you have more than enough time to get everything taken care of as far as travel, as far as arrangements. It's very inexpensive for the cost of the value that you're getting. And you're going to get when you see our itinerary, it's just amazing what we got lined up, just for the high level, from the speakers, from the giving people just the events, the nightlife, the food, the restaurants, and actually connecting you with the individuals that can make the process easier and trustworthy. That's a big thing when you're dealing with international, is trust. And that's one of the biggest things that we offer at EscapeArtist. So with that being said, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for being on as well. And then you, the listeners, I want to thank you for listening to us. If you're at this point, definitely somebody that has interest and should be there. You deserve it. So thank you guys for being on.
Thank you, Edmund, and thank you, Bambi, as well.
Thank you. It's been fun. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in Turkey.
All righty. If you forgot or you don't know what to do, go to live.escapeartist.com. Make sure you hit conferences, hit the Turkey. You read everything right there. The register button is there. The sponsorship button is down for more information. Look forward to seeing you guys and having a ball. Thanks, Sharif, once again.